Okay, all right. Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, or your regional equivalent, and welcome to
What,
A102.
5 months later?
5 months later, nearly it's nearly
Is it 5? Or is
2021.
it more? I can't remember.
Let's
Something like that.
let's not talk about the time. I don't want to think about it. I I've had about 5 months to prepare this to look at this mission and think how can I make things devilish. But we'll see if anything we'll see if it pays off. Hopefully 5 months of prep time is decent. Um, so yeah,
Knowing labs, it's not going to be nearly enough.
oh sadness. So we've got Jonas and Alex and Super Busy and Oddie. Um, and if okay, so let me catch everyone up. So the deep Rebel Battalion Deep Squad A102 have obviously been sent out into LSN territory north of the Rebel Battalion to locate the LSN's forward command center that is coordinating the current attack on the Rebel Battalion. Um, and so the Deep A102 through lots of things and through bumping into uh, murderous robots have eventually arrived here. With the information from A43, which is kind of an older, more veteran team, they now have information that that a ship docked at this LSN, this mining station on the edge of a rather large solar system. This ship has come from somewhere the ship has no registered docking position, and it's all very mysterious as to where it's been and what it's been up to. So their job is very simple: get on board that ship and get its navigation logs or whatever else they want, and then get the hell out of there and find out where it's been going to and try to investigate that. Now, to that end, they've embarked, they've gotten off their ship, they've gotten all the way over to the outpost. They drove up, they got out of their car, they went into the little restaurant. They had a bite to eat, and Oddie surveilled the place, and so they picked a side to go into. Uh, Alex and Super Busy got into some Protectorate guard uniforms, and Jonas got into a Protectorate prisoner uniform, which they had previously stolen from a Protectorate ship. Oddie has one of his suits from his time in the LNIB in the Naval Intelligence Bureau. So Oddie's now prancing around with his chest out, ordering around the poor officers. The whole team infiltrated through this little door down here, and they walked in there, and they've kind of made themselves at home. Currently, the guys are sat in a little locker room. Jonas has sat down after being sat down by Super Busy. They're all trying to look very official. And Oddie's gone off with this other man called Thomas to go talk to the base commander, who has the key to get onto the ship, or at least so they hope. All right, guys. So, free fire, open go. You're free to interrupt me when I'm describing. So, also something I want to say. As we go, when I describe stuff, and if I'm like, okay, the door opens and this guy stands out, you're free to interrupt me and say, okay, I'll pull out my gun and fire at him. Okay, you don't have to necessarily wait for me to finish. So you can talk and do stuff, as always. Just make that clear. So you don't always have to
We
wait.
like, we like listening to the story.
I know, but I like you to just to be like, Laps, I don't want to listen to you. I want to deal with this. No shame.
You mean like
That's
I've done with,
rude.
It is
I've
rude.
done
It
with it,
is.
like currently what Fuller in when you try to say something, just start saying something as well. Basically, shut up.
No shame. Okay,
Less
but
questions.
yeah, but if for example there's a guy walking towards you and you want to do something special, like be like, okay, this guy's walking towards me, I wanna stand up and look him dead in the eyes and walk towards him, Laps, and it's like, okay, so reasonable interruptions if you want to do something fun like that. I'm always happy with that. So yeah, just to make that clear. Okay, guys. All right. So let's continue where we left off. So Oddie talked to Thomas. They're on their way off to the right. 4 guys and PPTP1. Okay, 3 guys and PPTP1 are sat there in this locker room. All the lockers are closed. They're quite modern Protectorate steel lockers. Or actually not even steel, they're hard carbon lockers. They're reasonably tough. They're a little bit weaker than steel, but they're quite strong. And Yeah, I mean, outside there's some LSN. There's like a big, hefty LSN guy in an exosuit with a gun on his shoulder. He's an LSN Pardanta, and there's 2 Talantas as well. I mean, it's just not a happy sight. So it's looking a bit worrying. But you're prepared for them, so you should be able to
Yes,
think.
good job we didn't go guns blazing.
Yeah, good job. Okay. All right, guys. Freedom. So it is. So Oddie and Thomas have gone off. So they've had their kind of turn in air quotes. I'll call them turns. They work decently. So now you 4 guys, if you wanna do anything, or you just wanna sit there. Or you 4 guys, you 3 guys in PPTP1. What am I saying? What do you guys wanna do? Wanna look around? Just keep sitting there, wait for Oddie. What do you wanna do?
I just can't do too much.
Yeah, I can't really do much.
Okay.
If either of you two think you can get through any of the lockers, feel free.
Well, there's that door to the north. I'm just going to say north since it's going upwards.
Yeah, true.
Super has a little see through the boxes. You can kind of see vaguely across over this little parked vehicle. And
Oh look,
through the
another
corridor.
Talanta.
Super busy. You see a vehicle, a little convoy. You vaguely see. You assume it's a convoy. It might just be one vehicle. You don't know. But they're all driving, and the Talanta is walking beside him. But you only catch a brief glimpse of them before they move out of your sight, or before you move out of sight of them. Things are moving. Okay. All right, Alex, you don't want to move around? Don't want to check the lockers?
We could, but I do not think I have any tools.
This is true.
Have you actually tried throwing the bit to open it?
Oddie's just like, just turn the handle, guys. Oh, shucks. Okay.
Who would think to lock a locker on a base that is fully controlled by LSN?
Okay, Alex, do you want to try and open some lockers? Okay.
Try to open the handles and just casually open them.
Okay. You try to open some of the handles, but they all stick. They're all locked by a little kind of a key of some sort. There seems to be like a little keyhole. If you can imagine the sort of lock I'm talking about, it's like a little handle with the key in the keyhole in the handle. It's that kind of little setup. But no, they don't look particularly strong. You could break them, but if you tried to break it open, although it would be reasonably obvious to see if you left it alone. Would you like to break
What
it?
if I just try to open them a bit harder than usual without just deforming anything? Just open the handle.
Okay. Give me a combat unarmed. Why not? just to see if you can open it slightly harder. Such a funny way of putting it. I like it. Oh shucks.
Did I roll that again?
Go to your skill sheet. Go to skills. Go combat unarmed, and then just roll that. Just click roll it, and it should roll. It should roll. I mean, come on.
It's probably gonna ask for a stat and
Oh yeah.
Probably
strength,
be using
presumably.
Yeah, strength.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Which one should I roll again?
Combat unarmed.
Oh, it has dexterity by default.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, is your strength higher than your dexterity? You can change
Dexterity.
it. Okay, we'll go dexterity. Go on. See if you can finagle it open with the 6. Okay. Okay, so yeah, you pull and you turn and you twist with all the might and all the willpower you can get out of it, and you hear a very satisfying little clunking crink of metal, and you pull the handle, the little door open. You realize that what you've done is broken the internal little metal thing, the little metal locking mechanism inside. It's snapped. It's broken. It's just hanging there in front of you, and you're like, oh well, okay. So you open it. Inside there's just a plain like a little, not even a uniform, civilian clothes. Obviously, from whoever's locker this is, they put their civilian clothes in here. Civilian clothes, and there's like there's a little wallet, and just some other odds and ends that aren't very important.
Take the wallet.
This is Alex. This is Alex's decision.
Please check the wallet.
Sure, you check the wallet. Inside there's I'd say there's about 10 values worth. It's about 10 little value coins. And there is like an ID, just like Max Claude or something.
Take the cash.
You recognize the ID as the guy you'd seen in the hallway earlier.
Definitely take the cash.
I just put everything back.
Okay.
Put my hand down to look.
Okay. Alex, do you take the values or not? Do you leave them?
Just ignore my teammates for a few seconds.
Very good, very good. I'm happy. Okay, so Alex, you put everything back, you close it, and you make it look as if nothing had happened, except for the fact that the lock is broken. But you just kind of push it gently so that it kind of holds itself in place temporarily. They will notice it eventually, but probably not for a long time. Not until you're gone. Okay. All right, Oddie, you ready? Shall we go on a grand adventure, Oddie?
Into the darkness we go.
Into the darkness we go. So Oddie, you're following. So Oddie, you're in your LNIB uniform. It's lightly padded. You got a little bit of protection in yourself, but you look like a good, inspiring figure. You look like a pristine naval officer, and you've got the face for it. You got the eyes. You got the eyes that just scan into the soul. And you're walking after this LSM Protectorate soldier, who's he's covered in like a light. In sort of a light armored suit. It's not very tough. It's it's normal protectorate gear. And he's got his little TK rifle with him, just basically to protect against civilians and things. It's not a good gun against modern armor. But anyway, so he's walking you, and he's walking you towards the base command. So he comes up to this door, and there's a little control, there's a little keypad on the right of the door, and he bends over to it and he starts entering in numbers. It rejects him. He looks at it, squiff-eyed. He looks up. Above you, there's a little camera, and it's looking down at him. And he just waves to the camera, and you hear the door's mechanisms go, and the door slides open. Thomas looks at you, gives a shrug, and just walks right in.
As yet again, I just look at my data pad, start typing stuff in.
Okay, so if I do this, oh wait, that's the hide tool. That's the wrong button. Please.
He's disappeared. Oh my god.
Ah, he's gone. He's a phantom. He's a phantom. Ah. Oh my word. No. I just got a bunch of emails. Okay. All right. Okay. So, as you enter, so Thomas enters. You enter behind him. On your left, there's again another set of lockers. These don't look the same as the lockers in the locker room. These are more high security lockers. They look like they might have weapons in them or something like that. But in the middle of the room, there's this very, very clean, very nicely kept meeting table. There's an LSN Talanter in very, very heavy, not very heavy, but quite heavy defend weave. He doesn't have a gun on him, but he's helmeted up and armored up, and he's got this protectorate soldier. He's holding him by the scruff of his neck, by like the scruff of his of his chest. You know what I mean? He's holding him by his chest basically, and he's shaking him back and forth, and he basically is yelling to this guy, "Where's my Gazion rifle?" And the protectorate soldier's his helmet is off. It's in his right hand. His TK is sitting on the meeting room table, and he's just red faced all over, and he's looking this Talanta in the face. The Talanta is furious, shaking him back and forth. Thomas looks at this and basically pays it no mind. He starts to walk you past. As you get to the door slides open. So there's a door like above you. If the reveal tool will work. Sorry, Odie, I'll move you back a little bit. And this officer comes walking out, and he basically looks at. He says, "What's going on, you two?" Talanta looks at him and goes, "This bugger has lost my Gazion rifle," and he's got the Protectorate soldier by one hand, and just the pure power of his defend weave is like deforming the very soft. Hard, that doesn't make sense, but the hard carbon plates of the Protectorate officer's gear. He's still looking very unhappy. Thomas continues to walk, and he goes to the corner of the room, and he smacks a little console and opens the door that's leading out.
Quickly, I'm looking through the door. Still open. I'm looking through the door.
Oh, sure. So you look through. There's two consoles. They look very important. From the momentary glance you get before the door closes behind the other officer, you can determine that this is probably what's the nice word for it?
Control room.
A security room. It's they're keeping track of the positions of most of the personnel on the base. It's like a little security room basically. The door slides shut. Okay, and you follow Thomas out. Okay. And this door slides closed behind you as this Talanta is basically talking to the officer. He's still got the poor Protectorate guy by the scruff of his shoulder, and he's just still he's not shaking him anymore, but he is holding him very sternly, and he's pointing a finger at the officer and kind of giving him a very strong talking to about losing naval equipment. And
I'm just literally after the door. I'm just literally walking past, constantly typing in the datapad. Making it look like I'm actually making a report of this.
Yes. Oh, Oddie, you look like a pristine actor. Utterly brilliant.
It was my day job at one point.
It was your day job. You know it like the back of your hand. In fact, you know the issue code that this resides under. And you kind of just laughing at yourself. So you step out of there, and I'm not going to hide the whole thing, but I'll hide a segment of it just so that you can't see it anymore. Whatever. It's kind of nice. So Thomas takes you out.
So we know we've been there, but we can't see people doing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I could hide the guys, but that you might actually forget that there are people there. So, after a couple of games, whatever. So just make it obvious that you just don't know what they're. Anyway, okay.
Before we continue on our adventure, does anyone else actually want to do anything?
Yeah, I was about to say. You guys want to do anything? Or you all happy? Just okay.
I'm more than happy to wait.
Okay. Super, you fine? You don't wanna looking through the
I'm all
window?
good.
Okay. I mean, you're all watching, you're all listening, you're all keeping an ear out, you're aware, and you're looking around, so it's cool, completely fine.
You're all actually getting reports from me since I'm tapping on my datapad.
Oh yeah, no,
So you know what's going on with me.
Yeah, there's like you got like short range stuff. So Oddie, oh my word, what reveal? Why are you deciding to do the opposite of what I tell you to do some days? Okay. So Oddie...
Seriously?
So Thomas leads you out, Oddie, and there's this big car. There's this big, heavily armored, and it's not a normal vehicle either. It's quite a heftily armored vehicle. It's got like a little gun ports out of the side of it. It looks like a proper combat fighting vehicle. And alongside of it, there are Talantas walking, and there's two significantly heavily armed Talanta-like guys, but they're in slightly tougher suits. They're in actually significantly stronger suits. And the two guys are talking to him. Is like, "We must not delay." I can't do his accent. Okay, I can't do his voice. But we must not delay. We must get going now. We have wasted far too much time here. And the other guy behind him is kind of just like nodding silently. He's got a hefty Galzan rifle in his arms. But as you're standing there, the gate slides open. The vehicle drives out. And these guys, they follow on after.
Let's hope Harvey ain't blocking them.
Absolutely. And they all follow on after. And Thomas continues to walk with you. I should probably reveal slightly more, shouldn't I? Let's just reveal the whole.
I'm sure I can look up the road.
Yes, you absolutely can. That's what I meant to do. My deepest apologies.
After all, don't fancy being flattened.
Oh my word. No. Come on. Oh my life. Why?
Am I going blind?
You're slowly losing your
Is there a
eyes. Audie.
fog?
Purely blind.
Ugh. I'm serious.
I mean, Audie,
This thing is-
Audie, it's the curse of alpha leadership.
Oh, that sucks.
Hey, I told you, Jonas. Last couple of times I haven't died.
Yeah, you haven't died. You're slowly going blind, though.
Oh, it sucks. So, Audie, you look up the road. There's pretty much nothing else. There's just a couple of offices, some big boxes, big crates. And, the ground beneath you, there is a lot of tire tracks. There have been a lot of vehicles going out in and out of here. So it seemed very recently. You don't have a helmet on, so you can smell the pseudo rubber not the pseudo rubber. What did I just say? The rubber that all the wheels made out of and all the stuff. So you can smell it. It's very strong. It's been a lot of vehicles through here.
Is this? I could hear that guy basically saying that they're late, they're behind schedule.
Yes.
As always, go to my data pad, start typing stuff in. Make sure they can actually see I'm doing this as well.
Yeah, I mean, as you're walking, the guy in the big white suit, he looks at you, and he looks at you with the sort of way, Audie, that you can almost feel him staring into your soul. He looks at you, and you can see his eyes through his helmet. You can see his eyes don't quite trust you. They see there's something wrong there, but he kind of shrugs it off. The other guy that's with him, also in the heavily armored suit, gives him like a pat on the shoulder and says, "Come on, boss, we gotta get going." And so he kind of shrugs it off and follows. The car stops. They all jump in. The Talantas and all them hop in.
Imagine the Talantas just holding onto the sides.
Absolutely. The guy on the back just jumps on and holds. I mean, they've got defend weave. They barely have to try to hold on to stuff. So the car packages in them up and vroom, off they go. They zoom off. And the gate closes, of course. Okay. So Thomas takes you up to the entrance to the command building. Command building's actually quite short. I mean, the station only has I can't remember how high I said. It's like 8 meters or something. To the ceiling of because you guys are sandwiched between two levels of the station. You're in the middle of it. So the building can only go up so high, but it's quite a nice. Everything's quite clean for the most part, and there's all these windows on most of the sides of the building. So Thomas comes up to the pad, tries one more time desperately. Beep, 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 beep. Brrr, it rejects his code again. He looks up at there's another camera on the above, and he waves at it, and nothing happens. And he turns back and he says, give me a moment, sir. He looks very embarrassed, Audie, just through his.
And I just look at him and start shaking my head and go back to my report.
One of the officers behind you that was following the Talantos, he turns, he looks at you two, and he goes, "Tom, have you got the access code again?" Tom looks at him with this sheepish look, and he goes, kind of nods his head. Yeah, he has. The officer kind of puts Tom aside, goes up to the door. Door opens for you. The officer steps aside and says, "Sir." So the officer looks at you, Audie, and he just salutes you. He goes "I know exactly who you are."
I look at him, give him a bit of a nod, then continue walking.
Excellent. Okay. Audie, as you enter, the air in here is much nicer. It's very warm. Oh my word, please. Reveal tool. Why are you doing the opposite?
Into the darkness, boys.
Into the darkness.
It's more onto the breach, dear friends.
Literally, the reveal tool is giving me the opposite. Is doing the opposite of what it's supposed to do sometimes. That's very frustrating. That's alright. Oh, guys, I bought a new mouse. Finally.
It could be the mouse's problem.
It could be the mouse's problem. Oh no. Anyway, so Audie, you entered this very nice. Well, okay, not very nice.
All of Lapsus mice have problems.
All of Lapsus mice have problems. You entered this very nice, very clean setup. There's a lot of very temporary partitions in here. There's a bunch of guys at different consoles and terminals and things, and they're all very busy. They're also talking to each other over the partitions, and some of them are in quite rapid conversation. Thomas walks you past them all, Donk, 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 donk.
As I'm walking past, I just look to my Thomas and say, feels like home.
Bureaucracy and administration. Oddie, do you want to give me a perception check? Just normal perception wisdom. Do. 9. Oh, very nice. So Oddie.
Nothing gets past me.
So Oddie, as you're looking, so you're walking by and you're walking past all the terminals, and you're listening to, number one, you're listening to all of them. Number two, you're looking at the terminals, and from what you can tell, this vessel was unloading a lot of equipment, a lot of boxes of stuff marked "Do not look in," a lot of restricted access stuff, that sort of thing. And they're very nervous because some of the boxes have gone missing, and there's been delays because some of the transport drones have been acting up strangely for some reason, and there's a bit of talk of potential infiltrators, and office staff are on a little bit of a high alert because of some of this, and so they're being a bit frantic and double checking manifests. So you get the feeling you might not be the only infiltrator here, but maybe that's just paranoia. You never know.
Oh, this is even more perfect. My reports will go fine.
I mean,
Oh, shucks.
if they're always out to get you, it ain't paranoia.
Okay, sorry about that. Sorry, guys. What did you saying? I had to deal with something. Hello?
Jonas said something.
What did Jonas say?
Just disappeared for 10 seconds.
Said if it's always if it's not paranoia if they're always out to get you.
Shucks. Oh yeah. Okay.
Anyway, I'm guessing this is where the boss is. So before we enter there, double check. Anyone want to do anything before we go into this?
Yeah, I was about to say. You guys want to do anything before Oddie goes and talks to the base commander? This might be a point of no return. Depends what happens.
You know, there's a north door which might be useful to check.
I'm sure we'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure. I am. I'll be fine. Nothing will happen. What am I
None of our
talking?
missions.
Because I
ever
let
been
Jonas
done.
go and open the door.
Super busy. None of our missions have been a problem. Oh, shucks.
It's not like anything has ever gone wrong during any of our missions ever. Yep.
Oh, shucks. Okay, all right, Oddie, you ready for this? You wanna?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So Thomas goes up to the door and he knocks on it. He knocks. First of all, he tries the little attention, the little compad. He presses a button. It says it's tried to ping him. Inside, there's a reasonably heated discussion. You hear muffled stuff, but it's very difficult to tell. Oh, pardon me.
You know what's tempting? Just time to move and just try and open the door.
Do you want to go for it, Oddie? If you want to.
And I don't want to get too much on a bad foot.
Okay. So you wait. And after so Thomas looks at you and he goes, and he says, "Sorry, I think the commander's in a bit of a meeting."
I'm leaning against the wall, can't stay tapping into my data pad.
Oh shucks, these poor officers have got way too much stress on their heads. I love it. So eventually, you wait for about a minute or two, and the door opens, and this officer comes walking out, very annoyed. He shoves past Thomas in a very rude way, and just walks and goes through one of the top doors to one of the deeper parts of the facility. Deeper parts? What am I saying? To one of the upper areas of the command building. But the door's open. You can see inside his poor old base commander Riley. He sat there. He's in quite a fancy get-up for what it's worth. Okay, and Thomas stands at the door and motions you in.
I say thank you to Thomas and I walk past him.
Okay, go on, Oddie. You can walk in.
As I go past the door, is there a button on the other side I can just hit to close the door?
Yeah, you can absolutely.
As I literally walk through the door, I hit the button, close the door.
Boop. Door closes. You can.
I then ask the commander, "What's your basic email address?
Yeah, what's his comm address? So first of all, the commander's sat there on his chair and he's got his head in his hands and he's shaking his head. And from all the information you've gained, from what you've heard, you can pretty much assume what he's currently frustrated about. But he seems quite upset. His like cheeks are red, and it looks like he's been yelling at people all day.
I'm not here to make his life any better.
He leans back in his chair, and he's got like a bottle of something. You don't know what it is, but he takes it and he takes a swig and he puts it down. He's got like a beard and mustache, and he like gives it a wipe. He looks up at you and he goes, what's your story then, eh? He like looks at you.
I repeat myself. What's your basic comm number?
He tells you his comm number.
I send him several reports.
He literally just and he immediately there's a little ping on his left-mounted little administration display. He looks over to it. He looks at you, and he goes, okay. He gets up. He looks over at his pad, and he starts to thumb through the little email entries.
I'll give you the rundown. Most of them is about me walking through the problems, security issues, the fact that one of the Talenters have lost their weapon, late convoys, office worker, some office workers chatting shit about each other. One guy forgot his password and was late. And then the biggest one, the one he'll take notice the most of, is the fact that we have a report of RB infiltrators in the area.
Commander Riley, through all of this, has got like one hand on his face. He looks tired. He doesn't look angry so much as he looks at a point of serenity when things have gone beyond where they should have been. You've given up on the situation, but nonetheless you have to deal with it. And he's got that expression, and he's like thumbing through the reports, and he looks at you and he says, "Yeah, I know." He just nods his head. He goes, "Yeah, I know. These protectorate lot are a bit dysfunctional." And he turns away and he like takes his cup of thing again, takes a swig, smacks it down. I guess that's why they sent you, isn't it? But I was expecting you guys in about 2 hours. He looks at you.
I was the closest in the area.
Riley nods. He goes, I see. Yeah, that's okay.
I am concerned.
Under LNIB Protocol Article 7, Act 4, I'm issuing a full siege of this base.
Riley looks at you, and he stands up and says, "Ugh, yes, all right. Listen." And he kind of comes around the table. He's got like one hand on the table. He's got the other one on his hip, and he's kind of like looking at you. And he's like, "Now I don't want to make your job difficult, but you are making my job very difficult. What I need you to kindly do for me is oh no, oh my life."
I think you need to see a doctor, mate.
Riley suddenly starts choking. Oh shucks.
But Riley has acquired the Rona.
Oh shucks. Riley has acquired the space Rona. It's even worse. The Ever Rona. The cold Rona.
The Ever Rona.
The Ever Rona. Riley looks at
Seriously, you're right, Laps.
yeah, I'm alright. I choked on some spit. It's okay. Okay. So Riley looks at you and he says, "I need you to help me deal with some missing cargo. You can seize the base. I don't care. But this cargo is my job. If that stuff has gone missing, if someone has run off with this stuff, we're going to have a hell of a problem to pay. And it's not just going to be me on the line. It's going to be people like you who should have been here earlier." I mean, and he rattles off about the fact that the other the real LNIB division that is supposed to arrive said that they would only be able to arrive quite late. So as he said, in about 2 hours. And he's very frustrated by this fact because he's like, if they were here earlier, they could have overseen this. They could have watched. I could have had more eyes on the cargo, etc., etc. And
I instruct him to say, well, our numbers aren't as numberless as the LSN officer forces clearly are, but most of us are under deep cover, so we can't just also disappear from our assignments straight away.
he looks at you and you know, he nods. He understands. He's like, yeah, I know. I know. All right. Well, listen. He moves to put one of his hands on your shoulder in quite of a like a brotherly motion. He's like, there's an officer I need you to surreptitiously look at. And he talks about the cargo. He talks about kind of gives you kind of the time frame. You know, so they've been offloading for the last 5 hours or so. And a couple of crates have gone missing. Namely, a crate of, well, the problem is he has no idea what's in the crates. He just knows that crates have gone missing. But he gives you like the crate IDs, and he says, I need you to go check up on, I need you to go keep an eye on the loader guys out there. One of those drones has been acting very weirdly. Now, as he's saying all this, Oddie, you can see on his desk, very plain as day, is a ship key switch, the key switch for the ship's airlock. And you see it's sat there very pristinely, almost within arm's reach. And while Riley is trying to talk to you, he's not really paying attention because he's very deep in his annoyance and his frustration. Would you like to do anything or not, or would you rather not chance it?
I instruct and say the first thing in this protocol is since you have a ship here which is not on the track and register, we need to secure its nav data.
Riley looks at you and goes, yeah, yeah, that makes sense. He takes the key switch and he fumbles with it, but as he does that, he stops and he goes, my word, I'm an idiot. Sir, if you could just hold on 1 second. He puts the key switch. He takes the key switch. He moves to his desk. He pulls out a little drawer and he puts the key switch in the drawer and he closes the drawer. Doesn't seem to lock it or anything, but from another drawer he pulls out this little. It's like a boxy device, whatever. But he puts it on the and you recognize it right away, Audie. It's an LNIB ID pingback. So basically, you scan your ID and it sends a ping to one of the local LNIB nodes. It takes like maybe 30 minutes to register it and check it, but it'll kind of check. And Audie, you hope that your ID is still considered valid, that they haven't scrubbed it from the system. They might have, but they might not have. So he puts
I've
this
already
here.
thought of this, you know, all the times I've been in LSM bases and never access LSM computers.
Yeah.
I've been kind of going to the LMB network and put myself as a deep cover, so even if it does come back, it does come back as a phased word. No, which I happen to know.
Okay, beautiful. So he scans you, sends off the ping, and he says, "Okay, just give me about 5 minutes. It should be fine." He sits on the edge of the desk, and continues to tell you about the wails and tragedies of trying to run a protectorate base. You eventually realize that he's actually ex-GCD or something along those lines, and he's got some other backstory and whatever. He bores you, quite frankly, by all of his talking. But guys, do the rest of you want to do anything quickly, or are you still happy? You're still happy to sit there?
I want to mention something.
Sure, Alex.
I am not sure why, but I have something called key switch in TTTP1's other equipment inventory.
Oh, that's Alex. That's from the nightmare. That's from the special mission. So you can remove that. That's
Alright.
old. Yeah. Actually, thank you. I don't want that lying around.
You know, I have to go very shortly, so
Ah, okay. That's fine, Super. We'll end about now, I guess. It's all right.
not a massive amount of action, unfortunately, but
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, listen,
we managed to play.
we managed to play.
Yeah.
Play a little bit. That's all
We
that
got a
really
bit
matters.
further.
Yeah, and we set up our equipment. Oh, by the way, for the listeners, I've rebalanced a lot of the equipment and the armor and stuff, just to make it a bit more interesting. Not just a bit, quite a lot more interesting, a lot more correctly where it should be, and it gives me a lot more room to have different armors and different enemies and things. It's very nice. It's actually helped a lot. So yeah, so hopefully next mission, or maybe this mission if the guys do something interesting, we'll get to see some of the new equipment. Anyway, all right, guys, I think we'll cut it here. I actually have to go do something as well. It's not as urgent, but I do actually have to go do it reasonably soon. So I guess we'll just end off there. That's all right, and we'll check back with Riley once the ID clears and once we have to go on go get on our ship. So you three in PPTB1, as you guys are standing there, the Padanta and the two Talanters have kind of moved off. They've sort of started to walk downwards, so it would seem, towards the locker room. And they, so just to bear that in mind for later. Anyway, so until next time, everybody.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Until next time, everybody. Cheerio.
Cornflakes.
Respect.